Hello, everybody, and welcome to
Ringside Rhetoric,
where we're hitting truth in the face. I am DJ Steele,
and I am Charmaine.
And today we are hitting on the topic of the power in you.
Well, discovering the power.
That's right, we're discovering the power in you. Today we have some special guests. We have Mr. Nathaniel Cropp, we have Stephanie Kirkland, and we have Lenora Hammond-Williams. Well, first we're going to ask y'all to tell us a little bit about yourselves and what you do. We'll start with you, Nate.
Well, I guess I'll go first. My name is Nate Cropp, and I have a company called Believe, Lead, Inspire, Win. And also I have a subsidiary company of that called Walk Inspired Now. And my company is based around leadership and also getting people to believe in themselves, to be inspired. And ultimately, when we do that, I believe that we can live a life of winning.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Stephanie.
I like that.
Well, my name is Stephanie Kirkland, and the name of our company is In Pursuit of Me. It's just a company of personal development where you discover your unique identity so that you can become your best self, empower your life. Our focus is on women and helping them to develop who they are.
Wow.
So no matter what role or responsibility they walk in, they are doing that from purpose, not from the
Love
outside
it.
in, but from the inside out.
Okay.
Yes.
Lenora.
Yeah, and I'm Lenora Hammond-Williams. I'm a part of In Pursuit of Me as a community director, and I'm also a mentor, a life chapter mentor for In Pursuit of Me.
Okay. Very good.
All right. Well, Nate, you said you have your organization. What drove you to want to start the organization?
Well, I think that the title, the subject of this platform is very important
It is.
to how it impacted me, discovering the power in you, is that I've always felt that I've had something inside of me that was a lot more than what I was kind of doing before, which was I had a life in project management in the corporate and private sector.
Very interesting.
And yeah, and so what I did was I kind of started looking at like what really drove me to get up in the morning to really be able to connect with people.
Purpose.
And exactly, purpose. And I just knew that I wasn't really living my life's purpose. I was kind of going through those daily routines of, like I said, providing, making decent money. And one day, be honest with you, I had a candid conversation with a manager of mine at the time, and I already had a trip booked to Disney World, and she pretty much told me that I wasn't going to be able to go with my family on a trip.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
So while my wife was in Disney World with my children, I pretty much already had made a decision that I was going to take and launch out into the deep and started focusing my life more so on me, because at that particular time, I just knew that organizations and structure of organizations, even though I'm in leadership, sometimes we don't be able to, we're not able to actually grasp who we really are.
That's true.
As we live them through people in the organizations.
Lost in the shuffles.
Yeah, lost in the shuffle, and we're not pursuing that. So with me, that came through me resigning from an organization and being able to help people find out that if they do want to stay on those jobs, as I do more in leadership, but then if you want to take and look at pursuing something else, that I say, hey, you're able to do it with being able to say, hey, you know what, I can take a step out.
Wow.
And be able to start doing those things that that I really want to do in life. Yeah.
Stephanie.
Yes.
So, how did In Pursuit of Me start?
In Pursuit of Me started with my own personal journey of not being fulfilled. The same as Nate. I found myself asking questions. I have all these roles. I do all these titles. I do all of these things. Everybody around me is happy but me.
Exactly.
It wasn't that, I was mad or angry, but I wasn't fulfilled.
You want something more.
It didn't click for me, and so I knew how to function and role in responsibility, but I wasn't living in purpose.
Wow.
I had the gifts, the talents, the abilities to do things, but that wasn't kicking purpose.
Yes.
And so it started out with just praying, Lord, I need to do more. I want something greater than this. I want to connect with who I'm supposed to be.
Hear this.
And so one day I was watching somebody on television, and the story was about Noah. And so knowing the arc, and you know how you watch something on TV, but oh, that was good.
Exactly.
That was so good. Praise the Lord. You know, just touch me. You know. And then I heard Holy Spirit say, if you could only do one thing or say one thing for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Wow, that's beautiful.
And I was like, I say a lot of stuff. You know,
Yeah.
you kind of forget that you ask God questions, and then when a situation comes as an opportunity to kind of talk about the question that you asked. And I was like, I don't know what I would say if I could only say one thing, because it kind of connected to the story of Noah. And so I was like, I don't know. And so I dismissed it. You know how we do. And so it came up again. If you could only say one thing for the rest of your life, what would it be? And so I took it seriously.
That is deep.
And I was like, wait a minute. I need to ponder this, because Holy Spirit don't usually come back twice.
No.
So I was like, I need to turn this question. And so as I began to turn the question and just walked my own journey out and just began to connect the pieces, one day I was, driving down the street, and I heard in my heart, the same way that you found your fulfillment, you understand that your message has the authority to walk out your space. You're going to help other women do it. And so I started doing classes, workshops, seminars, till it actually formed In Pursuit of Me to what it is today, which is an organization that helps women find their life message so that they can live from the inside out and not out of role and responsibility. Yeah.
So is it just local, or is it like a national thing?
Oh, we just started our Life Chapters. Life Chapters is where we have curriculum where the women who've gone through Life Message now go into their communities, and they empower the women who are a part of their world with their life message. And so they connect with women in their homes, at the library, wherever, with our curriculum. And they begin to have that conversation with women about their purpose and where they're moving and how they're flowing. So so we're in Georgia now. We're in the DMV, which is Virginia, Maryland, DC.
That is awesome.
Yeah, we're in South Carolina, North Carolina. We're getting ready to open up a chapter in Charleston. Somebody's looking at for Alabama, Louisiana. So it's just so it's just really about taking charge of that and walking in the fullness of it.
So Lenora, explain your role in Pursuit of Me.
Well, my role actually started out from attending one of our events, which is Jumpstart, and we do that on a quarterly, now yearly basis. And coming to that event, and she posed that question, Stephanie posed a question of, if your life could speak one thing, what would it be? And I was thinking the same thing. I have no idea. Whatever, and so much came from that. And so attending Life Message, to which Stephanie spoke about, it's a 6-month long program to go through. And, when you're looking at yourself, really trying to find what your purpose is, like what are you supposed to walk out, it's hard.
It is.
It's really hard. But if you stick to it, you can do it. And so much comes from it. So doing that and seeing what my purpose is and how I impact others' lives, I needed to attach myself to In Pursuit of Me. I needed to do that. So getting out and talking with people, letting them know what's going on, and really engaging the women and just being a big cheerleader for them, letting them know that they truly can do it. It's difficult, but you can do it. It's okay, and you deserve it. It's yours. It's always been yours.
So kind of step back for folks. Could you explain to the audience what is purpose? Because you do have a lot of folks, in their everyday lives, working or going to school, taking care of their families, and they really don't even know what purpose is. So can you kind of explain to the viewers what is purpose?
For me, purpose is very interesting. Sometimes when you hear people going after purpose, they end up looking at skill and ability, and that's not purpose.
Whoa.
God,
expand on that, please. Not because some folks, they get that confused.
Yeah, because skill and ability is supposed to support purpose. And for so many people, because they have a good skill set, because they know how to do certain things, they're gifted in certain ways, they presume that is purpose. But I believe God put those things in us to support purpose. And so for the way that we teach purpose is that purpose is not what you do. Purpose is the message your life is called to speak.
Oh.
And there's a big difference.
Listen, viewers.
It's not activity. So what is the message my life is called to speak? And then what I do is the conduit for that message.
Wow.
So that means it doesn't matter what I do.
Exactly.
My message never changes.
Exactly.
Right.
So whether I'm a teacher, whether I'm, I work in a store, whether I'm a janitor, whether I work in a church, whether I do podcasts,
Yes.
my message filters through those activities.
Right.
So then the question becomes, what has my life actually now positioned itself to speak? And then a lot of times people talk about passion, but passion does not necessarily reveal purpose. It just energizes it. It's almost like an anchor.
Exactly.
You know what I'm
It's
saying?
the drive for that
It's
purpose.
the drive for purpose, but it's not purpose.
Right.
So that's how we explain it. What is the message your life is called to speak? And then with that message, what are you going to do about that message to impact people?
Wow.
Because all of us have a message. And that keeps us from getting caught up in fivefold ministry. It keeps us from getting caught up in only certain people do certain things.
Right.
Everybody has a message,
Exactly.
and nobody should be
Exactly.
sitting still.
Yeah.
All of us have something to
That
say.
is so true.
Yeah.
And everybody's message is different.
Yeah.
Nobody has
But
the
you know
same
what's,
message.
you know what's powerful? Even if both of our messages is hope or winning, his message is still different
It's
from mine.
exactly.
Wow.
Because we're different.
Exactly.
Our experiences are different. How we live is different. What's impacted us is different.
Wow.
And so therefore, there's no competition.
No,
It should not be.
But when you know
It
why
should
you're
not be.
here,
Yeah.
but when you know why you're here,
yeah, and it's
That is so true.
I was looking at chills just coming up on because as I was sitting waiting for you guys to finish, I was sending out another Instagram message, and it literally said, "Spread your message."
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Spread your message.
Wow.
And when I think about what you said, I mean, it's all right. We can go to the dictionary and look up
That's so
like
true.
what purpose is, but like you said, it's what you live out every day, and it's what you brand yourself.
Yes.
What you brand yourself with. In your organization, and how you connect with women, and how you live that out every day, and
Exactly.
what we're doing, and I just love what you guys are doing with women, and I'm looking to do that the same way with young boys and young men,
Exactly.
Yes.
and then also too in leadership is that okay? How are you going to brand? Whether it's Walk Inspired now,
Yes.
whether it's Believe, Lead, Inspire, Win, you got to be able to say that whatever my purpose is, or whatever I aligned in my life to do and
Yes.
spread that message, I'm going to bring that message. And if that same message is hope,
Yes.
the hope that I experience could be through the situation,
That's true.
that I was able to overcome.
Yes.
Right.
Because guess what?
Yes.
Me and your situations we overcome.
Yes.
Ain't totally what. But the common message
It's hope.
Exactly.
is hope.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So for me, my purpose has been, and this has really been a journey for me, is that I feel that I'm free.
Oh my God. Let that pause right there for a moment. I was so caught up in this call. Free. Hope.
Freedom.
Yeah.
I mean, viewers,
Purpose.
please,
Yeah.
purpose.
Yeah.
Listen, I mean, these messages, we don't hear this often. I mean, I know all of us, we are at a certain level in our life, but we trying to encourage someone to just step out on faith, have hope, go after your dreams, go after your purpose. Wow, just free. Literally.
And listen to the Spirit. It's going to tell you your purpose.
Exactly.
You just have to be willing to listen and obey it.
That's right.
Wow.
That's right.
So Stephanie, by you being a community director, what experiences have you, had with some of the women that were, in the organization?
I've had some experiences. Well, we have women from all range. Pretty much
That's Lenora, though.
Yeah,
That's Lenora.
pretty much. You're looking at the demographics. We've
Yeah.
had women that have been in the age group of the late 30s on up. And now we're experiencing some millennials that are coming.
Wow.
So
That is
Good,
great.
good.
what we are
Awesome.
noticing that is the majority of them are impacted by church. They walk out their lives by what they've learned and the skills
Yes,
they've gained
yes,
from
yes.
church. And it's been angst for them because some of those things just haven't been working. and they're not sure as to why it's not what's going on. Not that anything is wrong with that. Not that those things are wrong.
Exactly.
Not at all.
Yeah.
But being able to come into the program, being involved in the IPOM community, and learning what that is and how they fit in with that, how their message speaks through that, has been very freeing for them.
Exactly.
Very freeing for them.
Wow.
Now, the fact that you said that some of them are trying to practice what they learn in church.
Yeah.
Some of them are learning wrong things in church.
Yeah.
Because church is not like it used to be. Church is not like it used to be. There's preachers preaching messages on their agenda and what they want you to believe, and it's not necessarily what the Bible says. They're twisting it to fit their own beliefs.
Yeah.
So
That's the reality.
Yeah, it is.
But then our thing is like this, just know that purpose is not just about church.
Right.
There's a marketplace as well. And so
Expand on that. I'm serious because some people think you have to discover your purpose and you have to be in church, and that is not the case. Now, I'm not saying because I go to church, but I'm just saying because you do have some of those, that are not affiliated with going to church, and people can find their purpose anywhere, like you said earlier. So kind of expand on that. That's not just a church agenda where you can find your purpose.
Well, let's just connect biblical text to it. The word of the Lord tells us that He has given us kings and priests.
Right.
So, you can associate that and connect that context to purpose, that there are people who work in the marketplace for God's purpose, and there's people who work in the church for God's purpose. We have to also take into account where the Word of God tells us in Corinthians that the church prepares us to go out.
Exactly.
So by me understanding that I am prepared to go out, then there's something that I need to connect to that is not necessarily associated with the church house. There are people who are called to the house.
So true.
And we know those people as fivefold ministry. And so we know that the assignment that's on their life through their purpose is connected to empowering the people in the house. And so their mandate and their purpose is connected to the church community, to people of faith.
Exactly.
And so we also need to know if the Word of God says that we are being positioned and prepared and educated for our own spiritual context, but then we go out into the community, what is my part in the going out?
In the community,
Going out is not always evangelism. Going out could be my business.
Right.
Listen,
And then my business,
please.
through my purpose, impacts and changes lives. Then people come back around because the Word of the Lord tells us that we live out our truth. So I'm living my life, I'm growing, I'm impacting, I'm showing who God is through how I live my life. Then people turn around and say, what is it about you that's different? I share my purpose, I share my spiritual context, and then that's how people now come back to the house. So my responsibility when it comes to living out who God has called me to be is to first, again, what is the message my life is called to speak? Be healthy in that message. Now that's huge. Don't just, we have to begin to look at our lives not through the lenses that have broken us, but through the lessons that we're taught in that brokenness.
Whoa.
I'm with you.
That is, I so agree with that.
Oh, yeah.
But
Because
you can't, some folks, they can't get over that hurdle. They will stay in that broken place. So can you speak to the viewers on how can they, come out of that broken place?
Okay.
Because a lot of people are stuck there.
But before we do that, we're going to take a little break.
Intense conversation,
That's right.
I love.
We're going to come back and we're going to answer that question.
Hello, this is Miss Charmaine of Ringside Rhetoric.
And I am DJ Steele.
If you would like to be a sponsor of our show, you may go to our website at www.ringsiderhetoric.com and click on our advertising link to view the sponsorship packages.
Also, if you would like to purchase any Ringside Rhetoric merchandise, please click on the shop link on our website. And thank you once again for your support.
And welcome back to Ringside Rhetoric. I am your co-host, Charmaine.
I am DJ Steele.
And we are welcoming back. We are talking about discovering the power in you. We're going to go back to my question I had earlier. How can we come out of that broken place? Can you kind of expand? Kirkland,
You were
looking at her, Stephanie. Yeah, can you explain it?
Yeah.
We're going to get a little bit from everyone.
Yeah.
But Stephanie, can you kind of expand and explain, how can folks come out of that broken place? Sometimes we are there. And sometimes we don't even know we're in a broken place.
Right.
Because we are so used to just how life is going, and we are just go, go, go. And sometimes we don't take a step back to reflect on life and just take a breather. So how can we get out that broken place, or how can we identify that we are in a broken place?
That's a whole lot of questions.
How can we identify that we're in a broken place?
Well, I think it first begins with just understanding that you're ready for a change. A lot of times we say that we want change, but we're not ready for it. We'll talk about it, we'll fantasize about it, we'll get on the phone with our girlfriends and talk about what we're getting ready to do, and so we find ourselves living in fantasy.
Going to Miami.
Yes, I'm just gonna get away.
Yes,
I'm gonna do that. But you're really not ready until you're willing to
wow.
connect to something that helps you to shift your circumstance. And so the first thing is, even though you're thinking about it and talking about it, are you ready for it? And if you're ready for it, you'll know you're ready when you're willing to connect to someone who has answers.
Whoa.
And not just your girlfriends, not just people who pump up your situation, not just people who help you fuss or argue and
Our
complain.
men stroke your ego.
Yeah, or somebody
Yeah.
to stroke your ego. But when you're ready to confront the issue and you're ready to connect to people who will help you press through it, and you're ready to process it, and you're connecting to that, then it's time to release the brokenness. But if you still just want to talk and just want to complain and want to go through the motions, and you get your high off of the complaining, and y'all talking about people, and you're on the phone,
Yes.
woo, that felt good, and you just go back to existing,
Yes.
you're not ready.
So pretty much the bottom line is, if you're not ready to get help, well, you can't get help if you're not ready to get it.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
So
So Nick, can you speak to some men, how they can get out the broken place? We know some of y'all are macho, and you got a lot of pride, don't want to cry, and don't like to be vulnerable. So how can you speak to some men on how to get out that broken place?
Yeah, I think well, I know that it's just what Stephanie said. With you, with you wanting just to say you to yourself, it's like, you looking in the mirror saying, I'm messed up. I'm jacked up. Things aren't going the way.
Jacked up. I haven't heard that in a while.
Things aren't going the way that I want them to go. And when you really acknowledge that, and you're really looking for that change to happen and take place, then I also agree with Stephanie is now you're trying to say, okay, I've recognized it. Now, what do I need to do to be able to get that to get that help, and where would I be able to get it, and be able to get it in a safe place? I'm not trying to transfer the narrative of what we're doing here, but I think that there's a theme. You think about when Jesus was with the woman at the well. He talked to her about everything that she had going on, and she kind of just was like, really? And
It was the truth.
it was the truth, but she wanted help.
Exactly.
And I believe that for us in this time and in this season,
Yeah.
with discovering the power within us, is that we're going to see what that power was manifested. But it has to be something that she connected with, or Jesus connected with her. She connected with Jesus because he was able to help her.
Exactly.
And we as men, we gotta be able to
Want help.
and connect with people who want to help. What do you say?
well, my thing is, it works for women and men the same way. You got to want the help in order to get help.
That's so true.
Because if you sit there, like Stephanie said, if you sit there and keep complaining about it, keep talking about it with other people, getting little street lawyers and all that stuff, you pretty much just doing this. You're just gonna be in the same place because you're not getting help. You're not acknowledging that you have a problem. You have to acknowledge the problem first then you get help for it.
Yeah. And then the next step is taking responsibility for your life.
Whoa.
That is really, really huge.
Very key.
A lot of times after we acknowledge and we're ready for the shift, you have to take responsibility for your life.
Accountability.
God has a responsibility in your life, but you do also. And a lot of times we try to push it all on God to get him we just lay out and fix it. But there are some issues in our
so
life,
true.
in our soul realm, that is our responsibility to fix. The Word of God tells us to renew your mind.
Wow.
You know, you
Every
be
day.
transformed. But
Exactly.
that's my responsibility.
exactly.
That's not something that I pray.
That's some good
I'm gonna have to
information.
pause there.
Yes, exactly.
The renewal of my mind, excuse me, is my responsibility. That's not God's responsibility
It's
to
true.
do for me.
That's so true.
So we have to now take responsibility. What is my part in this narrative? Don't look at the people who hurt you. Don't look at the circumstances around you. They're irrelevant. When you take responsibility
Yes.
for your life, then you're saying, okay, from this point on, I know what happened in the past, but from this point on, I'm taking authority over my life.
Wow, listen.
Yeah. And so I tell
listen.
people, forgiveness, my definition of forgiveness means I no longer hold you responsible to fix it.
Exactly.
Right.
And sometimes we see forgiveness as if I move on, then you're going to think that what you did wasn't wrong.
That's true.
But for me to take responsibility for my life, I no longer hold you responsible to do anything
I call
about
it
it.
holding hostage of my life, but you're right.
I take responsibility
Exactly.
from this point on, irregardless of what's going on around me. It's now my responsibility
Exactly.
to move forward
That's right.
and to connect to people who can help me move forward.
forward.
And sometimes women and men, it's not just somebody in your church to help you to do that.
That's true.
Some people need counseling,
Yes.
Oh yes.
and you need to be okay going to get help outside of the church.
Yes.
There's skill
Please
sets,
listen.
you know, scriptures, yes, they are our fundamental foundation.
yes.
But there are some skill sets that are necessary for us to break strongholds in our
I'm
lives.
glad you said
And
that.
we have to be
Counseling.
willing to get
Yeah.
those strongholds broken.
I'm glad you said that because a lot of folks they don't like that word counseling.
They're scared of
especially in
it.
our community because it looks shunned upon or just
Because
I
they
can't
look
tell.
at it as people being crazy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's not. Counseling is for to better yourself and like you said, to inspire you and to peel back those layers.
Right.
Those real in-depth issues, layers that you are trying to overcome. So I'm
Yeah.
glad you kind of expand on that.
Yeah, and it needs to be addressed.
Exactly.
Well, now, Lenora, hold on. I want to know about this mentoring that you have going on.
Well, it's not just my mentor. A part of our community is our mentor for IPOM life chapters in our different areas that we've talked about. So we've gone through training for that. And so reaching the women that's in our area that we're associated with that connect with us. In other words, connect with our message and what we speak.
I love it.
So with those and having those, the fundamentals, the tools in order to help them walk out a particular sector for 6 months, that's what we do.
Wow.
That's how we help them in their place. We meet once a month. We've all decided upon our own times, because we've all been trained to do that
Exactly.
in coaching and mentoring. And we meet with them on once a month. We keep our groups small, intimate for women so that they really can
Okay.
process.
Okay.
It helps
I like
tremendously.
that.
And we
I
stay
like that.
connected. Although we meet once a month,
Yeah,
we stay
but it's
connected
more
with them.
one-on-one. I
Social
like that.
media really helps with that.
So what's like the age group of the women that you...
They vary. We have some that are strictly for millennials,
Okay.
for single mothers.
Okay.
And then we
That's
have
great.
some that are, of course, 45, some 60.
Our seasoned sisters.
Season, yes. Yeah.
That lets you know you're never too old to learn.
Never.
right.
You're never too old to learn. I'm
Never
glad
too
you
young, never
expand
too
on
old.
that. Exactly.
Yes.
60, so that's real
Yes,
good.
we have
Wow.
graduates in their 60s, 70s, and 80s
These are success stories.
Yeah, standing up at
Wow.
graduation, declaring what they're getting ready to walk out for the rest of their lives.
Okay.
Just because you're older doesn't mean you don't have purpose.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
Nate, what's your age group in your organization?
Well, I just started. I was talking to Charmaine about it earlier. I just started putting out there that I was doing some mentoring. So I'm looking at working with young men from 7 to 21.
Okay.
And I don't want to. Some people probably would say, "Well, man, why so broad of a range?" I know that there are some 7-year-olds out there that might not necessarily have a father or uncle. But if they do, they might would be able to say, okay, well, I want my son to be able to kind of connect with someone else. And then as we know about that young teenager age,
Very vital.
yeah,
That's where you start molding them into what they need to be.
Matter of fact, I was actually doing some research. I know you guys probably remember right before President Obama, I believe before he left office.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe right before he left office, but My Brother's Keeper Alliance with the Obama Foundation. I've been doing some research on that, and it's strictly for men of color, but he was saying that in his research and everything that they were going back as far as like 3rd grade.
Wow.
To be able to say, okay, you know, you start, talking to
I
young
agree with
men,
that.
about education, talking to them about different issues when it comes to social justice, how important it is to be able to be in school and that type of thing. And so as I say that and I look at my 6-year-old and just kind of how children's minds are developing, it just seems to me also too that you might. So that's why I started with like that 7-year-old, because I'm kind of thinking about my son. And we talked to you about, Mama, get me some juice.
Yes, please.
Yeah, please get me some juice. So as they can see or have someone in their lives showing them giving them those little nuggets.
Very important.
Then hopefully by the time they get to 3rd grade, because like you say, man, we know, man, these kids are getting a lot of information. We ain't had cell phones.
Social media.
Whether we want them to or not.
Exactly.
They're inundated with it, and it's
Social
designed in
media.
such a way to have them to really conform, not transform.
Exactly.
Yeah, they're being taught.
Listen, not only kids, some adults too. Some adults too. It is what it is.
It is. So that's what I'm looking to do. So if you're out there and if you want to take in contact me as regarding mentoring, please do, because I'm looking to be able to do some one-on-one mentoring.
I like that.
So how can they get in contact with you?
Well, they can reach me at NateCroppLeadership.com, or they can also reach me at WalkInspiredNow.com. Also, I'm trying to learn my Twitter handle and Instagram.
Don't feel bad.
So I know that one is at Nate Cropp, and but if you put in my last name, CROPP, Paul, CROPP, then you'll be able to look at and you can kind of see. So it has a lot of messages around inspiration of walking inspired now and winning. So that's kind of the vein that I'm going down with that.
So how do they get in touch with your group, Stephanie?
They can go to inpursuitofme.net. They can connect with us on Facebook. Through mine is Stephanie M. Kirkland, and we do daily inspirations every day to do mindset empowerment. And we are all over the place, Instagram, so just reach out to us. We would love to connect with you.
Okay.
All right. So that's going to wrap up this episode of Ringside Rhetoric. I am DJ Steele.
I am Charmaine.
And we want to thank our guests, Nate, Stephanie, and Lenora, for giving us some very insightful tips on how to discover the power within you. All right. So just remember, like our Facebook page, like the Instagram, Twitter. Our Twitter handles at Ringside Rhetoric. We working on Snapchat. I ain't figured Snapchat out yet. Ain't figured that out yet.
So we're just trying to get good messages out there. Again, we hope that you enjoyed our message today with our guests. Discover the power within you. Please take a real good listen to what each one of our guests had to say. It inspired me. I know I'm going to be thinking about this for the rest of the day, possibly the rest of the week, because I'm always motivated and always willing to learn. So this message is really to encourage folks out there to just want to live your best you. Live your truth. Get with your purpose in life, because this world is so big. We just don't want to pass by. We want to make our mark.
Before we get out of here, I meant to say this a long time ago. We got to get a shot of those chucks. We got to get a shot.
That's signature iPod.
The chucks are matching the shirt. The chucks are matching the shirt.
Yes, they are.
Always.
Everybody here at Ringside Rhetoric, we want to say peace. See you next week.
It's your man's DJ
DJ Steele along with Miss Charmaine. We're hitting truth in the face, cause that's our claim to fame. We're gonna talk about the topics no one talks about. We gotta find us a solution to the problem we got. It's time to take it to the ring, let's get it on and pop in. We're strapping on the gloves so we can get this thing rocking. Gonna keep it 100, that's as real as it gets. Now it's time to hit you with that ringside rhetoric.
Round 2 and what we say Mike's thing. We coming live, hitting truth in the face, popping good topics so that you can relate. So take a backseat to the BS chatter. Recognize real on the topics that matter to our society. Let go of your pride. Listen real close as we take you ringside.
Heavyweight bout, hitting every topic's what the show is about. We hit 'em with a left, we hit 'em with a right. We got a KO, we on fire tonight. One topic down, now we're looking for some others. as long as God's first, the real will be uncovered. Body blow, headshot, then another body blow. Now that we have your attention, on with the show.